Taiwan, a country which is renowned for its lively culture, delicious food, and amazing night markets. But not everything in Taiwan was sunshine and rainbows. Just underneath the surface of this paradise, a sinister force hides in the shadows. We're talking about a world full of crime which is far more dangerous than you could ever imagine. This is the Bamboo Union of Taiwan. This union controls everything from politics to businesses and everything in between. But there was one man who dared to speak against all of it. His voice against corruption and injustice led to a series of events that sealed his fate and shook the entire world. And how did an organized crime association from the small island of Taiwan shake up the entire world? Get ready to dive into the dark side of dollars, because in this video we'll uncover it all. But to understand, we'll need to go back all the way to World War II. During the Second World War, Taiwan was occupied by none other than the Japanese. The ruling nationalist Kuomintang Party and the opposing Chinese Communist Party banded together to fight off the Japanese. But this union did not last long. As World War II ended, the Kuomintang Party and the CCP quickly turned against each other. And in no time, there was another war that was ready to erupt. And erupt it did. It gave birth to the infamous Chinese Civil War. In fact, at the end of the Chinese Civil War, the Kuomintang Party lost to the Chinese Communist Party. After a grueling defeat, the Kuomintang Party had no choice left, so they just fled straight to Taiwan from mainland China. But the story doesn't end here. The mainland Chinese were known as Weishengret. They had no identity left, and they were being treated as mere outcasts in Chinese society. In fact, Hoklo Taiwanese gave their best in harassing and bullying them. And it was this humiliation and harassment that led to a future full of crime. But the crime didn't stay limited just to Taiwan. It reached all the way to Daly City, California. But the question remains, how did this whole crime gang take its form? And where did it all start? Let's rewind to the year from where it all started. It was in 1957. People were still able to feel the horrific after effects of the Chinese Civil War. In fact, the overall atmosphere was quite tense. Meanwhile, a group of young Weishengren kids came together as a means of protecting themselves in society. And together, this group of kids survived in very bad conditions on Bamboo Forest Road in Jungho City. And as they grew up, they came to be known as the Bamboo Union. The Bamboo Union started like every small town gang would. They were always involved in petty crimes, theft, engaging in street fights to earn respect and get recognized, but things didn't really change until the 1960s. After that period, their ambitions started to grow, and guess what the gang did? This gang eventually moved on to more organized and profitable ventures. They began to extort money from local shops and factories. They did it all in exchange for protecting them against Taiwanese harassment. But how did a gang protecting local shops become a transnational criminal organization? The answer is simple: politics. During the martial law in 1947 to 1987, the KMT government in Taiwan used the Bamboo Union to deal with their political opponents. The gang dealt with anyone who opposed the KMT, and in return, they enjoyed an unrivaled freedom as the politicians turned a blind eye from the Union. But that wasn't the only thing. It was also during the Vietnam War when well-paid American GIs started to come to Taipei to rest and relax. And the Chinese nightclubs knew how to make their business even stronger. The nightclub owners hired Bamboo Union members to keep the rival gangs away. It gave them control over the city's underworld, which ended up solidifying them as a multinational crime syndicate. If all that wasn't enough, there was one infamous figure who joined the Bamboo Union in the 1960s. Can you guess his name? We're talking about none other than Chang Anlo, the White Wolf of Taiwan. He was one of those people who moved to Taiwan during the Chinese Civil War. In fact, at the age of 16, he ended up joining the Bamboo Union and quickly rose through the ranks. It was all because of his strategic mind and ruthless efficiency. In 1968, he moved to the USA and started studying philosophy at the University of Nevada. He then went to Stanford University and later opened his own restaurant in Monterey Park. And he did it all while still being involved in the Bamboo Union's gang activities within the United States. But what's even more crazy is that one of these activities involved the murder of a journalist. Can you guess the reason for that murder? Well, he just had the guts to speak the truth. But what exactly did he say? It was an ordinary morning on October 5th, 1984, in the quiet suburb of Daly City, California. Journalist Henry Liu, also known by his pen name Chiang Nang, was in his garage. He was preparing to start his day when suddenly, the suburb was filled with the sound of gunshots. His wife ran down to the garage and what she discovered was unimaginable. She saw that Henry had just been murdered with a gun. Whoever attacked him shot him 3 times, twice in his head and once in his body. But she remembered something. She recalled seeing 2 suspicious Asian men riding around her house on the day of his murder, and the following day before that as well. As it turns out, Henry Liu was no ordinary journalist. He was a journalist who was openly critical of the KMT government. In fact, Henry was regularly exposing the dark side of the KMT, but this time he made a mistake. Before his murder, he made a biography using his real name. And once the KMT found out his real identity, it was pretty much over for him. The hit was called out by Chen Shi-li. He was the leader of the Bamboo Union and a close friend of the White Wolf of Taiwan, and Admiral Wang Hisling. Admiral Wang was none other than a Taiwanese intelligence director. This assassination ended up sending shockwaves not only in Taiwan but around the rest of the world. It showcased the lengths dictatorial regimes like the KMT will go to silence anyone who doesn't agree, especially the ones who try to go against them. The murder also left no stone unturned in revealing how they were in close ties with gangs like the Bamboo Union to do their dirty work for them. It also led to an FBI investigation against the Bamboo Union, which revealed the extent of their operations in the US. And it was a lot more than what the FBI could have ever predicted. The Bamboo Union's influence in the United States shows their adaptability in how they strategically expanded. Under the leadership of the White Wolf of Taiwan, the Bamboo Union started setting its feet in US soil. It was in the late 1960s when San Francisco Chinatown became a central point for their operations. San Francisco's Chinatown has always been densely populated with an active, colorful community. That's why it served as a perfect cover for Bamboo Union's activities to go unnoticed. They formed alliances with local Chinese and American gangs, slowly increasing their power and their criminal enterprise. All of this was also allowing them to control illegal activities like drug trafficking, money laundering, and extortion. Their most prominent operation in the US was the heroin trade. They used to smuggle heroin from Southeast Asia into the US. In all of this, San Francisco was acting as a central distribution hub. As their operations continued to grow, they continued to expand into major cities that had significant Chinese populations like LA and New York. All this had a severe impact on the reputation of Chinese American communities, as some of them were dragged into the gangs, whereas others deeply suffered from their extortion and means of violence. It also fueled negative stereotypes and harsher monitoring by law enforcement agencies. Even though they're much less active in the United States now after the FBI crackdown on them eventually, their rule over the underground in Taiwan still holds strong to this day. But why would people still join the union? The answer is simple: they're still making easy and illegal money. In 2015, the members of the Bamboo Union kidnapped Hong Kong businessman Wang Yuk Kwang. The union chained him and blindfolded him for 38 days, and they did absolutely unspeakable things to him. Not only did they torture him, but they extorted his family for 70 million Hong Kong dollars in ransom. But his family wouldn't budge, and the authorities eventually intervened and rescued him. But this wasn't the only incident. In 2021, a series of police raids conducted in Taiwan found an international fraud ring that operated through social media platforms. The ring targeted unsuspecting victims by advertising fraudulent investment opportunities. They were scamming them out of millions of dollars. And the next part is even crazier. They made around 1.5 million US dollars in profits. They also arrested another member of the group for loan sharking and kidnapping a businessman. And here's the most recent one. In 2024, some members of the Bamboo Union lured investors in a crypto mining fraud. They did it by promising to create a crypto mining company, which they never actually did. And they didn't stop there. Once the jig was up, Bamboo Union members threatened the investors when they asked for their money back. These are just some of the cases where the police got involved and arrests were actually made. But there are still countless Bamboo Union crimes that were still undiscovered. And as China tightens its control on Taiwan, the role of the Bamboo Union has become even more important. This is especially true in this critical geopolitical game. With their deep connections to both Taiwanese and Chinese political figures, the Bamboo Union is not just a footnote in the struggle for regional dominance. They are actual major players. So it's clear that the Bamboo Union's rise is more than just a tale of organized crime. It's a powerful reminder of how the dark side of dollars really works, and how the dark forces of the underworld can shape political landscapes and also drive global conflicts. Their influence highlights a crucial point. Power often takes many forms, and there's no end to the lengths to which people will go to obtain it. So what do you think? Will the Bamboo Union's influence keep growing as things keep heating up between China and Taiwan? Or will they inevitably fade into non-existence? Drop your comments below, and remember, the truth lies in the details.